So the next thing that I asked you to do, well, actually the first thing they ask even on the problems is find the x and y intercepts. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, x and y intercepts. All right, right now we're dealing with functions. So our input is our x-axis, or our x values. And our output, instead of being y, we're going to deal with f of x. Does everybody follow me with that? OK. So if I say my x-intercept's right here, what is the x value right there is, whatever x is. But what's my f of x value there? 0. So if I say I want to find the x-intercept, I say f of x equals 0. And what do you think? If I want to find the y-intercept, right, x equals 0. Now, you could say the f of x-intercept, but I'm just going to go back, right, because it's really the f of x-intercept for that, because we're dealing with functions. But they say find all intercepts, so I just always revert back to x and y thinking about it. So if f of x equals 0, let's do that. So you put, and this time we're dealing with a function that's g of x, right? So not f of x. So we're dealing with a function that's actually named g of x instead of f of x. So now let's plug it in. Let's put 0 in for g of x. All right, notice it is not this. A lot of students do that. No, it's g of x equals 0. So we say 0 is equal to, I'll just write it as my fact, as I fold it out. No, depending on what we're doing, but more than likely, no. But you should be using the same name of the function. So does everybody see what I did? I just replaced g of x with 0. That's the same function there. Then the next one, it says g of x equals 4 times 0 plus 4 all over 0 squared minus 4 times 0.
Wait, what is that?
That's for your y-intercept, or your g of x intercept. Right? Because where at this value, what is my x value? 0. So you plug 0 in for all the x's. OK, Marco? So now, ladies and gentlemen, what do? Now we just need to solve. So this is to find your x and y intercepts. So how do you solve for x here? There. Well, remember we have a fraction, right? That's what a rational function is. It's a fraction. How do you get the denominator away? You multiply by your denominator, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. Now that's going to divide to 0, and you multiply in here. Now what's so cool about this is that just gets to 0, right? So you're just left with 0 equals 4x plus 4. Right? Because this, we say, divides to 1, and this goes to 0. So now you have 0 equals 4x plus 4. Subtract 4. Negative 4 equals 4x. Divide by 4. X equals negative 1. So that means my x-intercept is the x value of negative 1. Now let's go and take a look at the y value.
That was that using the x value.
So x equals that value. Now let's go and see if we can find the g of x. So the g of x, when I solve for this, I get 4 divided by 0. Careful. Remember, can we divide by 0? No. We can't divide by 0. So do we have a value for g of x? It's not defined. Right? Remember when you guys said slope, a vertical line? You say when your slope was 0, or not when 0, but when you had 0 on in your denominator for slope, it was undefined slope. Here's the same thing. It's an undefined intercept. So therefore, does it exist? No. So is my graph going to cross the y-axis or the g of x axis? No. So there's none. OK? That's how you find the x and y intercepts. You plug 0 in for g of x, or your function, to find the x-intercept, and you plug x in for your variable to find your y-intercept, or your g of x-intercept. Make sense? Any questions? Okay. We're going to talk about the graphing and all that kind of stuff in a second. Yes?